Good evening. We haven't done this in a very long time, so we're gonna get right to it. I'll explain why I'm doing this in a moment, but it has been a long time since I actually did one of these essay outlines. As you can see, this is gonna be the next video that we're gonna do, specifically the Typhoon video. It's been over a year since we released the Shiki, Tohno, and Shiki Nanaya one. I felt we should do one on just Nanaya solo. So, let's get to it. So how do I want to approach this? Because we already know Shiki Tohno. Well, Shiki Tohno is his own identity. Nanaya is the repressed self. Because a person is more than the role they are given. Okay, I have an idea. Alright, so as usual, the way I do these, I start the outline first, and as soon as the outline's finished, we get to the main essay. Okay. So the main thesis of this, I'm going to move my mic out of the way so I can actually write. The main thesis is a person is more. Wait, before we do that, it's a little bit too big. Thesis. The old curse of me not being able to spell when I'm streaming is going to happen, I guarantee it. A person is more than the role they are given. A person is more than the role they are given. Because we know Tohno as the kind boy, his identity is pretty much crafted through all his experiences and the people that he meets. But Nanaya doesn't have all that. He only has... Yeah, Nanaya's a weird case. We can't really even do that. Okay. Using Tohno as an example. I have a little bit more time now that I can actually do these. The reason why I stopped was just didn't have enough time to actually do this. And it is kind of boring just watching me type these out. Like, it really is. But I have a little bit more time now, so I can do these, but I'll probably only just dedicate this as an hour a day. So, using Tohno as an example, identity cannot spell what it matters. Identity is created through experiences. Identity is created through experiences. His interactions, definitely his interactions. Relationships. That thumbnail for this stream is not set in stone yet. I'm still working on it. I just needed a placeholder. Identity is created through experience, relationships, and choices. So a person is more than the role they are given. Nanaya can be seen as the inverse of this. This. He didn't have the opportunity to have his own identity. Well, it's kind of pushing it a little bit. repressed self. Remember, Nanaya is for the repressed self. So a person is more than the role they are given. Using Tohno as an example, identity is created through experiences, relationships, and choices. Nanaya can be seen as the inverse of this. He didn't have the same opportunities that Tohno had. Or Nanaya is a repressed self. Due to the massacre, he never had the opportunity to be something because clearly he was repressed after the fact. We just really, because we know Nanaya, Tohno, if the massacre didn't happen, would just literally just become Nanaya. Till he is needed. This is an outline. I'm not worried about grammar at all. Okay, so the thesis is fine. So a person is more than the role they are giving. Using Tohno as an example, identity is created through experiences, relationships, and choices, which he has a lot of that. Nanaya can be seen as the inverse of this. He didn't have the same opportunities that Tohno had. Remember, Nanaya is the suppressed self. Due to the massacre, he never had the opportunity to become something. Yeah, we don't need to do that. Okay, that's fine. All right, next. What do I want to do next? Because that's the thesis. So, do this. I don't have a quote for this yet. Introduction. Introduce the idea that people are more than their nature. Yeah, that people are more. They're more than their nature and their purpose. Oh, so before I forget, so the way I'm going to be doing this going forward, again, I stopped doing this due to a lack of time, and I personally felt like these were kind of boring, but I have time now, and this is kind of an important video, so I'm going to give myself an hour a day to do this, but I can't cut into the sprite animation time, so this will be done. I'll be done in like 50 minutes. Then I'm going to take a break and do sprite animation before I go to bed. So that's how I'm going to do it. Work on this for an hour, then go do my other projects. And I'm going to reduce the sizing a little bit so I don't cover anything. That should be big enough. All right. Also, don't drink unless you're my age. I'm definitely going to need this. So introduce the idea that people are more than their nature and purpose. To introduce the idea that people are more than their nature and purpose. People can go through their entire lives trying to figure out who am I. I think the last time I actually did one of these streams was the Tatsuri one, which could have been a lot better, but yeah, that could have been a lot better. Definitely a lot better, but can't cry for spilled milk. People can go through their entire lives trying to figure out the who am I. People can go through their entire lives trying to figure out the who am I. Introduce the idea that people are more than their nature and purpose. People can go through their entire lives trying to figure out the who am I. Identity is something we aren't born with, it's something we build up. Identity isn't something we are born with. It is something in Tohno's case, it took a whole entire massacre, trauma, twice to be the Tohno that we know nowadays. Tohno's been through some shit. Let's just say that. Tohno has definitely been through shit. So identity isn't something we are born with. It is something that we build up over time. Okay. Do we need anything more to that? Should give an example. Yeah, should give an example. So people inherit circumstances, abilities. Just in Tohno's case, he inherited his clan's fighting abilities and their instinct. Perfect. There we go. People inherit. They inherit things they can't control. Such as abilities. Oh wait, just like it's like Saber. Circumstances. Yep, circumstances and expectations. Especially with Saber, expectations. Circumstances and expectations. So introduce the idea that people are more than their nature and purpose. People can go through their entire lives trying to figure out the who am I. Identity isn't something we are born with. It's something we build up over time. People inherit things. People inherit things that they can't control, such as abilities, circumstances, and instincts. I think this is fine. But a person is more than these things. A person is more than these things. A person is more than these things. A person is one. Okay. What happens What happens? But what happens when someone isn't given that opportunity? This is gonna be a fun one. All right. So the introduction introduced the idea that people are more than their nature and purpose. People can go through entire lives trying to figure out the who am I. Identity isn't something we are born with. It is something that we build up over time. People inherit things that they can't control, such as abilities, circumstances, and expectations. But a person is more than these things. But what happens when someone isn't given that opportunity? I like it. Okay. Am I covering some stuff? No, it's fine. Needs to know. Needs to know. Nanaya represents. Okay. Nanaya. Alright, let me take this off. We're gonna yap for a second. Nanaya, he can represent one of the most craziest things in the Nasuverse, in my honest opinion. Because remember, Tohno has mystic eyes of depth perception. And Nanya never has that. Imagine if Nanya had that access to that ability. Using Melty as an example. You have Tohno by himself with Mystic Eyes of Depth Perception. That's cool beans. You pick Nanya. Nanya doesn't have that. Put yourself in a situation where he has access to that. It's not that he can't, because remember, he's still the repressed self. Using Tatsuri Nanya as an example, you can have a manifestation of Nanya based on Tatsuri, but they're limited. They're very neutered. If Tatsuri says, here's a rumor of somebody going around shanking people or killing people, a cold-hearted killer, Nanya will manifest. But it'll be pretty much a neutered version of Nanya. And if you kill that Nanya, the Nanya persona that's dormant within Tohno doesn't die. So remember, Tatsuri just makes a manifestation that's based off of rumors. So if that goes away, if he gets killed, the other one's still fine. He's still dormant in Tohno. You have to effectively kill Tohno to kill Nanya. And that's not going to happen because, as we've seen, Nanya will take over Tohno when things hit the fan. Nero can attest for that because Tohno was gonna die, and Tohno was definitely gonna die, but Nanya is extremely busted. So what I'm getting at is Nanya, his potential is, I wouldn't say limitless, but it's kind of borked and busted if you really think about it. So I'll write that he represents an untapped potential and a potential what if. We can go with that. We can definitely go with that. Again, I'm not trying to get into crazy power scaling, but his feats can't be ignored. Even though I'm working, I mean, even though I'm not working, I'm still working. How can I answer that in a second? He is dormant within Tohno. Not quote me on that. It's been a bit, but I do remember it. Nanya, he killed everything. Then Nero died. Nanya represents a disturbing aspect, in my opinion, untapped potential that is hindered by circumstances. He is dormant within Tohno and will take over in certain situations that puts Tohno in danger. No, if Tohno dies, he dies too. Case in point being when he took over during the Nero fight when Tohno was going to lose. Remember this because Nero is busted. All 666 creatures have to be killed before he can die, to which Nanya did, effectively killing Nero. With ease, mind you. Okay. How long have I been streaming this for? Damn. Okay. Nani represents a disturbing aspect, in my opinion, untapped potential that is hindered by circumstances. He is door open Tohno and will take over in certain situations that puts Tohno in danger. No, if Tohno dies, he dies too. Case in point being when he took over during the Nero fight when Tohno was going to lose. Remember this because Nero was busted. All 666 creatures have to be killed before he can die, to which Nanya did, effectively killing Nero. It's a separate. Seeking exists as a separate entity. Yeah, rated by entity. Oh, I know this is gonna confuse the shit out of people. Okay. I'm just cooking up a storm right now. Better move my camera a little bit out of the way. No, I think it's fine. It's kind of hard doing it with my camera right here, but it's all good. I'll scroll down. I'll read everything one more time. But I'm just typing up stuff at the moment. And again, the curse of me not being able to spell during streaming hours is always present. So, important. Tatsuri Nani is killed, or if the Nani Walachi dissipates, the there we go. All right. Okay. Well, this is a lot, so we're gonna read this again. So, Nania represents a disturbing aspect, in my opinion. Nania represents a disturbing aspect. Untapped potential that is hindered by circumstances. He is dormant within Tohno and will take over in certain situations that puts Tohno's. I forgot to put life. Tohno's life in danger. Okay, Nania represents a disturbing aspect, in my opinion. Untapped potential that is hindered by circumstances. He is dormant within Tohno and will take over in certain situations that puts Tohno's life in danger. Note, if Tohno dies, he dies too. Case in point being when he took over during the Nero fight when Tohno was going to lose. Remember this, because Nero is busted. All 666 creatures have to be killed before he can die, to which Nanya did, effectively killing Nero effortlessly, but we don't need to do that. Tatsuri Nanya is an interesting aspect because he exists as a separate entity created by Tatsuri. To put it simply, Tohno with a dormant Nanya persona can run around while Tatsuri Nanya is running around. Important, if Tatsuri Nanya is killed or if the Nanya Walachi dissipates, the dormant Nanya persona is fine. Because Tohno has to die for that Nanya to die. Hopefully that is simple for people to actually follow, because I know that gets confusing. It's not as bad as it's not bad, but I remember a while ago I got into an argument with people about Tatsuri Shion. Well, Shion and Shion Tatsuri. People forget that yes, Tatsuri Shion is Shion. It is pretty much a Shion that gave into her vampiric impulses. Shion is still a vampire at the end of the day. Just because Wallachia dies, that does not stop her from being a vampire. No, she's still a vampire. It's just whenever Wallachia / Tatsuri is around, she can't control her impulses. They go into overdrive whenever shit happens. But normal circumstances, she's fine. She's controlling her vampiric impulses. But no, just because Wallachia is dead, or if Tatsuri's not in the vicinity, doesn't stop her from being a vampire. That's not how vampires work. People fail to realize that. Okay. All right, we'll do like a few more minutes because I don't want to cut into sprite animation hours because I actually need to finish that. But like I said, I'll be trying to spend at least 30 minutes to an hour on this every night. This is not gonna be really. This is gonna be the next lore specific thing I'm gonna be doing for this channel. But I'm gonna take my time with this because this is gonna be an important video. Type Moon ones and Human Echo ones, I usually take my time on. I don't want to speedrun this shit because if I get something wrong, which I'll get something wrong with Fate because I don't follow Fate as much as I used to. That's just too much stuff. When it comes to Tsukihime or even Kiara no Kyokai, I'm fine with that. But Fate, yeah, Fate's hard to keep up nowadays. All right, so we cleared up that can of worms. What more do I need to write for notes? I want to say a take, but I'd rather not do any weird, crazy takes. Nanaya? Daniel should be seen as a person who is good at the role he is given. He is the dormant, confident persona who kills when needed. He isn't. Alright, I'm gonna do a take. And I cannot spell. Fuck it. He's not frightening because he kills. He's frightening because that's his. Because the killer is his identity. I can word that a little bit better. He isn't frightening because he kills. He's frightening. He's frightening because it's something he chose. No, I don't like that. He's frightening because he isn't frightening because he kills. I can't say he's a well shit. Like we can't really call him a murderer. Because usually, well, shit, no, we can't because it was Nadia that cut up Arc Wade. He was gonna, yeah. Oh, damn, yeah, yeah. You can call him a murderer, yeah. Yeah. Does murder. He isn't frightened because he kills. He's frightened because a murder is the identity he is given. I can really word that so much better. He is frightened because I'll do this. This is gonna be such a weird take. Oh wait, alright. It's the only identity the world gave him. I'm gonna so fix this later. I don't like how this is structured. Nani should be seen as a person who is good at the role he is given. He's the dormant confident person who kills when needed. He's frightened because he kills. He is frightened because killing isn't something he chose. It's the only identity the world gave him. But I'll put this in quotes. I'll put this in parentheses. It's not canon. And will like coma to the death. That's not. It doesn't happen. But if they do encounter each other, it's gonna be a fight to the death, regardless. Okay. I really, really had to fix this later. All right. And that's Nanaya and Jana. See, as a person. Reduced to a certain purpose. In a nutshell, Nana can be seen as a tragic character. I swear, that always happens. I say it out loud, and I never type it. In a nutshell, Nanya can be seen as a tragic character because he is a person reduced to a certain purpose. Do I need to put anything else here? We'll think about it later. All right. So let's save this. So, as mentioned, I'll be trying to spend at least 30 minutes to an hour with this every single day. I'll make time for this, but I can't cut into the sprite animation hours because those take a long time to do. But this is a special video since it's been a year since the Shiki Tohno and Nanaya video I've released came out. So I said, you know what, fuck it, we'll do a solo one on Nanaya. It's not going to be a regurgitation of lore that we covered with that one. This is going to be its own separate thing. But bear with me. I have more time now that I can stream my workflow. I'll be doing it around the same time. So just be patient. Enjoy the VOD. We'll talk later. If you have any questions, leave in the comment section. I'll see y'all later. Have a good one. Bye-bye.